I have her wrapped around my little finger, he bragged. Since she said I was much handsomer than Zeus, she's gonna make me immortal just so she can be with me forever. He went on boasting about how cool he was and how much Hera wanted to leave Zeus and marry him. Meanwhile, Zeus himself entered the dining hall and walked up quietly behind Ixion. Finally, Ixion realized that all the gods at the table had gone silent. He faltered. "He's right behind me, isn't he?" "Why, yes," said Zeus cheerfully. "And if you're going to steal another man's wife, you really shouldn't brag about it in his own house. Also, you should make sure it's actually the man's wife you stole, not just a cloud, dummy." Ixion gulped. "I guess I'm in trouble?" "Just a bit," Zeus agreed. None of the other gods objected to Zeus's punishing his guest. Zeus called for a spare chariot wheel and strapped Ixion to the spokes, stretching his limbs so tight they were about to snap. Then he set the wheel on fire and threw it into the sky like a frisbee. Ixion became immortal, all right, but only so he could suffer eternal agony. He's still up there in orbit, spinning and burning and screaming, "Hera! I thought you liked me!" That's the strangest part of the story. Fake Hera actually had a baby. How does a cloud have a baby? I have no clue. But their son was a guy named Centaurus, who apparently fell in love with a horse. Again, no clue. Their kids became the race of centaurs, who are half human, half horse. Like I told you at the beginning, I couldn't make up stuff this weird. Hera hoped that Zeus would be a more attentive husband after the Ixion incident, but she was disappointed. Instead, Zeus seemed to think that he'd successfully defended Hera's honor, so now he deserved some playtime. If I tried to tell you all the times that Hera took revenge on Zeus's girlfriends, we'd be here for a century. It sort of became Hera's full-time job. But one particularly mortal girl really got under her skin. Semele was a princess of the Greek city of Thebes, and though no one dared to say it aloud, everyone knew that she was the most beautiful mortal of her generation, as beautiful as a goddess, perhaps even more beautiful than Hera herself. Zeus started taking lots of shopping trips down to Thebes. Hera was suspicious, of course, but Zeus was clever. Hera could never catch him and Semele together. Then one day she was hovering over Thebes as a golden cloud when she happened to spot Zeus, in disguise as a mortal, but Hera still recognized him. He was exiting a house in the best part of town. A moment later, Semele appeared at the door and waved after him. The girl only stood there for a second, but one thing was obvious. She was immensely pregnant. Hera snarled and muttered to herself, but she couldn't simply kill the girl outright. Even though Zeus was a no-good scumbag, he was a very powerful no-good scumbag. If he found out that Hera had killed one of his girlfriends, he could inflict all sorts of pain and suffering to her. She would have to work through trickery. Hera floated down to Thebes in her golden cloud and took the form of an old woman. She knocked on Semele's door, thinking that she would pretend to be a beggar or perhaps a traveling sales lady. Semele opened the door and gasped, "Barreau, is that you?" Hera had no idea who the girl was talking about, but she played along. "Why, yes, my dear, it is I, Barreau, your, my nursemaid from childhood." "Exactly." "Oh, you have aged so." "Thanks," Hera muttered, "but I would still know you anywhere. Please, come in." Hera got a tour of the house. She was outraged to find it was just as nice, if not better, than her own apartment on Mount Olympus. She asked innocently how Semele came by such an amazing mansion, which seemed elaborate even for a princess. "Oh, it's my boyfriend," Semele said, beaming with pride. "He's so awesome. He gives me anything I want. Look at this necklace that he just bought me." She showed Hera a jade, gold, and ruby pendant that was much nicer than anything that Zeus had ever given Hera. How lovely. Hera resisted the urge to punch the princess in her perfect teeth. "So, who is this guy? Is he local?" "Oh, I'm not supposed to say." "But I'm your old nursemaid, Beryl," Hera said. "Barreau," Semele said. "That's what I meant. Surely you can tell me." Semele was bursting with excitement. She'd been dying to tell someone, so she didn't take very much convincing.